Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the Dirty Wave M8, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Frederick Stereo wrote in and asked, how do you record a sound from the M8 into the field without it getting a audio feedback loop? If you're not aware, if you have monitoring on two devices that are hooked up, basically inputs and outputs hooked up to each other, you will create a feedback loop, and you don't want to hear it, your neighbors don't want to hear it, your dogs and cats don't want to hear it. But basically what happens is you send audio out. So in this case, we'd be going M8 synth out, whoop, into the OP-1 field. It would then hear it, and then as part of hearing it, send it back out over here. And then it's going to send it back. You're just going to get this high frequency sound because they're both just sending the same audio back and forth to each other. As I said, you don't want to hear this, so we want to avoid this. Well, basically, we don't have a monitoring on and off on the Dirty Wave M8. I mean, you could probably program something up to do this if you wanted, but by default, USB 00 is going to be monitoring off, and then USB anything other than 00 is going to be monitoring on. So right now, I just turned monitoring on just to make sure. I'm double tapping the mic icon to make sure I've got the little X so that it's not playing anything. And if we turn this track on, actually, let's just mute it. So right now, shift play. We are playing the audio of the M8. It's going out here to my mixer. And if we want to hear, we can turn on, actually, sorry, it was on before. So I can toggle these drums on and off that I have for this drum loop. And you can hear like just drums. We can see the VU meter on the M8. It's hearing it and it's sending it out the outputs. And it's out of sync now because I'm playing both at the same time. Anyway, the problem we have is if we want to get something from the OP-1, how do we get it over to, or from the M8 to the OP-1? How do we do that? Well, first thing's going to be, if you're going to leave the configuration where the main output is your M8, turn your USB all the way to 00. It will make sure that it's not listening to and then resending anything back out to the OP-1. We're going to need to turn monitoring on. So for my case, I'm just tapping this. I've already got it set to USB-C. If you don't know, just hold shift in the mic and you can select between the OP-1 mic, AM, FM radio, or AM, or FM radio, not AM, USB, or you can do the ear, which allows you to resample. In this case, for how I've got these two connected, you want it to be on USB. With that, I can then go back to the tape. We'll shift mute. I'm just muting track 1. There's no reason to do it per se. I just don't want to hear the track and the audio from the M8. But I just want to show you what happens if I go shift and play. We can see right now we're playing. We can still hear it because we're actually hearing what's going here, and the audio is coming in over here. We have to hit the mic button, make sure that we get the USB-C up, and now we can see on the VU, and over here, we can see we've got audio. And if you do shift here, we can actually adjust. If you want, you can kind of do it to taste for what you need. USB-C connection, 00 is probably the correct value with that, so they don't get any digital distortion, because anything above that is just going to become a flat line and it's going to turn your audio into a square wave. You don't want that. Anyway, so back to what the question that Frederick Stereo is asking. How do we get a synth? Well, we're getting audio from the Dirty Wave M8 now, and we can send it to the OP-1 field. We're not getting feedback. So if you're just thinking through all this, you're probably wondering, well, cool, what do we do now? Well, let's go to a typical reason why you do this is I want to get like something and be able to use the sampler to start playing something as from the M8 as a synth, or be able to use the keyboard here to play around and see what I want to do for sound design or other things. So let's go up, and I'm just going to go over, we like this FM sound. So I've got instrument 3. Let's get out of here. I'm just going to go down to, let's go create, we'll use 00. It's fine. I'm going to make a new phrase. So let's say I like this sound. I want this in the sampler. I'm just going to, while I'm in a sample segment, I can record up to 6 seconds on the OP-1 field. Let's hit record. I'm going to play a C note. So I'm going to hold this to sample. We've now got that. So this sound is here, and I can now play it as a synth. But we're not going to be able to hear what's actually going on. Well, let's make sure we get back to tape. We want to make sure this is set to X. We don't want to be sending audio through monitoring and get this loop going. So we get that. I'm going to shift, go down, go to the USB, crank this up so I can actually hear it. Now we're hearing, it's actually playing the notes over here. I gotta go check my comm settings apparently. Yeah, we're going to MIDI channel 9. So basically when I'm playing notes here, it's playing the audio and sending the MIDI note. So I'm just gonna change this to 16 and there we go. So now I can play this. And you can hear we got like this weird looping at the end. Probably don't want that. Turn that out here. So, Frederick Stereo, I hope this helps you out. Other folks, I hope this helps you out. The key thing to know is when you're using two devices that, however you have them hooked up for in audio in and outs, especially when you only have one input and one output on both devices, you cannot set them up as an FX loop. So it's very critical and important to make sure that you're only monitoring one device at a time. If you can't disable monitoring on one device, that's telling you you only have one direction. So if you're in that case, what you're really kind of forced to do is hook them up in order. So serially, I would not be able to use this USB-C cable. I would basically have to go, if I want to send something from the OP-1, I'd have to connect the output to the input and then do my recording. And then when I'm done, I'd have to change those order and go output to input. Obviously, it's nicer to just have one cable that's carrying all of your audio and USB, but it does mean that you have to be more careful with what you're doing to avoid feedback loops. Anyway, everybody, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.